SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Well, the last few years have certainly been interesting, with the landscape changing dramatically for most businesses. But we're not quite over the great COVID upheaval. That's according to change expert and coach Esther De La Cruz. She says we've not yet reached a level of stasis and that every business needs to continue to evolve with the times. Esther starts by outlining to Jeff Waters the 3 areas of change that businesses need to focus on in 2023.
I'm really passionate about making it easier for people because in essence, all of us, we crave change from time to time. Even though we all find and experience that change can be hard, we do tend to gravitate towards change. I mean, it's like we don't really want to go to the same restaurant twice. We want to try a new restaurant, or we don't want to wear the same outfit every day. We want to go out shopping and get a new outfit. I mean, as individuals, as human beings, we do crave change. But change does come with uncertainty, and it does mean that we want to make sense of it and make sure that it's going to benefit us. And that's where it can become hard. But where it's fun is that if we see the benefits in it and we know it's going to help us or the greater good or the people that we love, then we can actually have a lot of fun with it as well and get behind it. So, yeah, I believe we can make change fun in any context.
Okay, you've been tricking me here because you say that change doesn't have to be hard. But then you said, it does have to be hard. So it does have to be hard. You do have to go through some difficulty. So tell me how to deal with that in the first instance.
Yeah, no, good point. So it doesn't have to be hard because if we find out why it is of benefit to us or of benefit to the people we love or the greater good that we serve, we can actually get behind it and see the progress we're making, and we get rewarded.
I see.
By neuroscientifically, we get, happy chemicals released in our bodies as we see progress occurring. That's when it becomes fun. But if we go and embark on change that is not clear how it's going to help, how it's going to benefit us, that's when it feels the hardest because we don't really see the point. We don't really see the progress that we're going to be making.
Okay, so before we go on to the rest of it, how, if I'm in that mindset that you just described, how can I overcome that sort of in the first instance? What's the first step I should take?
Definitely being curious, asking a lot of questions to kind of really deepen your understanding for why a change could benefit you or something that you're passionate about or that might help your loved ones or a greater good.
So I look at the challenge facing me. Sorry for interrupting. I look at the challenge facing me, and then I look into myself and see whether that's achievable or how I should approach it.
How you're going to benefit from it, how it's going to benefit.
I'm going to benefit from it.
Yes. What is the purpose? What is the actual outcome it serves? And how is it going to benefit either yourselves or others? And once we find that, as human beings, we are very much driven by purpose and by meaning. And so if we find that meaning in this change, we're a lot more driven to make it happen. We're a lot more keen to see that progress occur. And once we see progress occur towards the change, we actually get rewarded neuroscientifically with happy chemicals as well. So our biological system also starts to reward us and make us feel better.
And what happens then? What does that do to me?
You will actually feel happier. You get rewarded. Like when you achieve an action list, you have tasks on an action list and you can tick them off because you've achieved them. We get hits of dopamine. The same is when we make sense of change, when we see the connection with the greater good, the benefits, and we start seeing that progress towards the change, we constantly get rewarded by hits of dopamine, and it makes us happier.
Like going to the gym.
Like going to the gym, yes.
So, okay, we've been talking about changing ourselves more or less and the way that we're looking at our challenges. But then there's the business itself and change that might be confronting us in the business or change for the business itself. Why is it difficult to create change in a business when you need to go through it and you know you need to?
Yeah, Great question. When we choose change, such as I'm going to choose to go to a different restaurant, it's our choice and we see the benefit in it because we're going to enjoy new types of food, or we might be exploring a new cuisine and we're going to enjoy that experience. If we're in the workplace and change occurs, most of the time we are not part of the decision-making team. We're not part of making the choice to embark on this change. And we're also, most of us are further removed from the decision-making process and the understanding of what the actual change is and how it's going to benefit either us or the people that it might serve. And during that process, because of the complexities often in business, the clarity of that understanding is often really hard to define and really hard to communicate. And that's what we see in business a lot. We see in business a lot that we embark on change and we tell people what it is they need to be doing in order to realize the change. We tell them how to do it, but we don't often explain well enough why it's necessary, why it's going to be beneficial to either us as a group or as a team or as an organization or for the customer that we serve. And so that why message is often lost. And therefore, those people that are embarking on the change where they don't understand the why, they don't get the hits of dopamine because they don't really understand what they're pursuing. They don't understand the goal they're pursuing very well. And so they're not getting that feeling of progress and that feeling of contributing to a greater good. And those are the things we're seeking. And those are also the things that biologically offset our stress levels when it comes to uncertainty. So we have a lot of stress in our bodies when there's uncertainty and change. We fear that it might negatively impact us. But if we were to pursue a goal and we are rewarded biologically by, hits of dopamine and positive chemicals in our bodies, it offsets that stress. So we actually start to thrive through change.
Saying all of that, it sounds like you need to work first on your communications with all of your staff to be able to achieve that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And spend the time to really get that why message really clear. Like, we have gone through a decision-making process to embark on a certain change. It can be a restructure, a digital transformation. It can be a new system. It can be a merger with another business, or it can be a change in how we do things. But there has been a process that you've embarked on before you made the decision that this was the right thing to do. Now it's time to actually bring all the rest of your team or the rest of your business on that same journey, on the same page, because then they can get behind the change and they can also get the benefits of you pursuing that goal and getting those biological rewards as much as you do experience a level of stress because you are still going through the change, but you offset that because you see progress and you see that you're pursuing this goal together. And that's where I think we need to spend a little bit more time to get that right.
And it sounds like, in summary, what you're saying is that we should open the communications channels with the people that we work with as a beginning, but also to open up the communications with our own mind and review ourselves as well.
Absolutely. And what I always talk to leaders about is open the communication as a dialogue, not a monologue. So it's not just about sharing information one way, you as a leader sharing the information about the change, but also opening the dialogue for people to be curious and ask questions, to really make sure that they deeply understand what you're saying. So ask clarifying questions, ask questions to explore what this might mean. And to some of those questions, you may not have the answer because, as we all know, change is in an element uncertain, and we don't know exactly what it's going to look like once it's finished. But if you open up the dialogue, we can at least have conversations to offset the possible negative stories we make up in our minds about change, which is uncertain and therefore unknown. And that really helps to minimize people's levels of anxiety, levels of stress, and therefore opens up the possibility to collaborate throughout this journey to cement that change.
That was change specialist and coach Esther De La Cruz. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel.